We have two great apartment living options in Brownsville for UTB and TSC students. Borders Apartments at 375 Media Luna Road is conveniently located on Highway 7783 and a quarter mile south of Sunrise Mall. Our second option, Los Cedros Apartments, offers countless comforts and is located at 1025 Wild Rose Lane. For an exclusive discount on your first month's rent, call the Borders Apartments at 546-1605 or Los Cedros Apartments at 542-1941. Both offers expire February 28th.
At T-Mobile, get 4 lines of unlimited talk, text, and data on its network for just $100 a month. Now with 10 gigabytes of 4G LTE data until 2016. That's up to 2.5 gigabytes per line. Switch today. Tax and fees additional. See store for offer.
Welcome to the Collegian News Webcast. I'm Hector Aguilar.
And I'm Andrea Torres. Here are this week's stories.
The University of Texas System Board of Regents has approved the Vaqueros logo to represent the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. The new university plans to publicly launch the Vaqueros brand next month. In their meeting on Thursday, the Regents also approved the transfer of tenure appointments to UT Brownsville and UT Pan American faculty to UT RGV.
A professor from UTB and a professor from UT MD Anderson Cancer Center have received a patent for an MRI marker designed to improve prostate cancer treatment with the use of MRI. Michelle Garcia tells us more.
Karen Martirosyan, an associate professor of physics at UT Brownsville, and Stephen Frank, MD, an associate professor at UT MD Anderson Cancer Center, received the patent in September.
They have discovered a non-toxic cobalt-based marker that's going to be very important for medical imaging and therapy, especially in case of cancer.
The research began at the University of Houston and at UT MD Anderson Cancer Center about 10 years ago, where Frank and Martirosyan met. The patent is titled MRI Markers, Delivery and Extraction Systems, and Methods of Manufacture and Use thereof, and it's the second patent the professors received regarding this research.
Yeah, this is medical device, which is we call MRI markers. This is basically for MRI treatment for prostate.
The MRI markers help identify the titanium seeds that are implanted in the prostate with the use of an MRI.
I treat prostate cancer. And one way in which prostate cancer is treated is with the implantation of radioactive seeds into the prostate to kill the cancer. The way that it is currently or historically has been done is with using imaging tools such as ultrasound and CT scans. However, the best imaging tools to evaluate the cancer in the prostate and to evaluate the response of treatment of the prostate is with MRI. And the problem that I found was that the radioactive seeds, when you put them in the prostate, you couldn't see them in MRI. And therefore, I was looking for a way to light them up so that we could know exactly where we placed the radiation, utilizing the best imaging tools, which is MRI.
Frank said he and Martirosyan, who is an expert in biochemistry and biomolecular engineering, set out to explore different methods to identify the implantable radioactive seeds under MRI.
Well, we came up with many different ideas, solutions, and one of the areas that we were able to discover was this novel positive contrast agent, which is based on a cobalt chloride complex contrast agent. So this unique agent we discovered and we patented it, or initiated a patent. And then we also identified ways in which we could put it safely into the body. And we added an N-acetylcysteine, which is another portion of the compound, or called NAC. And we got a second patent for that. We have now gotten FDA approval as of 2013, and it has now been implanted into the human body. And it is currently being used to treat prostate cancer
10
patients.
patients have been implanted with the MRI markers. The first patient received the implant in March 2014. For the Collegian News, this is Michelle Garcia.
Students on the UT Brownsville and UT Pan American campuses attended town hall meetings where they learned about the proposed constitution for the UT Rio Grande Valley student government. Andrea Torres has the details.
The proposed constitution calls for 40 senators, 10 executive seats, and a judicial branch. 9 members of the Student Government Association of UT Brownsville and UT Pan American, as well as 7 administrators from both campuses, came together to form the Constitutional Convention Committee and draft the document. The executive branch of the SGA would include 1 president, 2 vice presidents, 1 from each campus, 1 chief of staff, and 5 executive officers.
The president and vice presidents will run as a slate. Okay? So they're all going to run together. And they're going to be elected by a plurality of the votes cast. So whoever gets the votes is our president and vice presidents.
The legislative branch calls for a total of 40 senators and 3 officers, chair of the Senate, sergeant at arms, and secretary. The judicial branch calls for 1 chief justice, 2 associate justices from Brownsville and 2 from Edinburgh, 1 faculty and/or staff associate justice from Brownsville and Edinburgh. The Constitution Committee was scheduled to meet with the UT system representative again last Friday to try to finalize a constitution.
Right now it's in draft mode, so when we finalize it, we want to be able to present it to campus online and send a notice to students where they can find it to review the different elements, the different articles of the Constitution.
Students who attended the meetings had the opportunity to ask questions about the structure of the proposed constitution.
Since it's the first meeting that I come to, it was pretty informative. I guess just relying on the structures only, that's really what I wanted to hear, because I have no idea how these things usually go. So this was pretty basic for basic understanding, and I don't know, but I learned a lot today.
For the Collegian News, I'm Andrea Torres.
The art gallery at Rustenburg Hall is filled with ceramics, collages, and paintings created by UT Brownsville faculty members. Kayla Contreras attended the exhibit's opening reception.
About 40 people attended the UT Brownsville faculty show Tuesday night at the art gallery at Rustenburg Hall, where professors from the Visual Arts Department displayed their artwork. Department Chair Carlos G. Gomez and lecturers Alejandro Macias, Rick Fatica, Julian Rodriguez, and Stephen Hawks presented their work on a variety of themes ranging from the beheadings in the Middle East to pop culture. Lecturer Stephen Hawks said he's been selling his ceramics since he was a teenager.
I worked 20 years as a potter, but I also painted, and I've been doing more sculpture here, but in this show I've got the pottery because I demonstrate for my classes. But I mean, just about any art that I've come across influences me in some way.
Lecturer Rick Fatica told the Collegian what kind of message he wants people to get from his photography.
For me, it's about the spirituality and a greater understanding of being connected to a power greater than myself, like God, or finding that truth.
Lecturer Alejandro Macias' artwork is influenced by pop culture. One of the pieces that he has more of a connection with is Reflection, which depicts a naked woman looking at her reflection in the water. Instead of her face, the reflection shows her skull.
But obviously I hold it a bit more dearly, like the 4x4, because it took me such a long time and it was such a battle that it was almost like this we almost like formed this bond over time because it took forever, but I wouldn't say I have a favorite.
Junior art major Marta Ortiz said it was interesting to see her professor's artwork.
I encourage people to come and see because we have a lot of talent in the art program and many people don't know about it. So I think it is a good, investment of everyone's time.
For the Collegian News, I'm Kayla Contreras.
The Student Government Association is looking for a new vice president. Andrea Torres reports.
Philip Martinez has resigned, and the SGA president's nominee for his replacement did not receive enough votes from the Senate. During the Senate's February 6 meeting, SGA President Erendira Santillana nominated Shangir Siddiqui, the current Vice President of Public Relations, to replace Martinez.
He has helped me planning various events, including Dean's Luncheon, Pizza with the Presidents. Shangir, to my understanding, it's in at least 3 committees that are UTB and UTRP related. And on behalf of former Chair Mr. Martinez and on myself, this is our nomination to the Senate. And now,
in accepting the nomination, Siddiqui said that his main goal as Vice President of Administration would be to empower the Senate to reach its full potential. But some senators complained that the Senate was not told the position was available.
We weren't given any formal notice or nobody. Like he said, we didn't know Phil had resigned. This is the first we hear of the position even being available for someone to consider themselves to speak to the president and let her know that they're interested so they can go through the process that's required. Because I'm sure it takes some.
We didn't know. So from my point of view, I'm seeing this was already arranged. Phil is out, they nominate somebody else without giving us notice so we can say, okay, who are the nominees going to be?
When the motion was made to appoint Siddiqui as Vice President of Administration, 10 voted in favor, but he needed 13 votes, or 2/3 of the votes, so the motion failed. In other business, the SGA voted to appoint biology seniors Samantha Gomez and Elizabeth Rivera as senators at large.
For the Collegian News, I'm Andrea Torres.
Here's Michelle Espinosa with this week's 15 seconds.
The University of Texas System Board of Regents on Thursday approved a Vaqueros logo for the UT Rio Grande Valley. We asked students what they think of the logo.
I think nothing's wrong with it. I think it's just fine. A lot of people complain that the colors don't match UTVs and it's more Pan Am than us, but I think it's fine the way it is.
I don't really like it. I think the colors are a bit weird. The green and the orange kind of look like Gatorade a little bit. I like more the UTV's blue and burnt orange.
Pues la verdad me gusta. Está muy padre, está mejor que el anterior, pero los colores como que no combinan a la comunidad ni lo que es aquí, Bronzeville. Siento que deben de ponerle otros tipos de colores como rojos, naranjas o cafeses.
I really like the logo. It's actually better than I expected. The colors really mesh well with the green and the orange, and I really think it represents the UTRGV really well.
For the Collegian News, I'm Michelle Espinosa.
Thank you for watching the Collegian News webcast. I'm Hector Aguilar.
And I'm Andrea Torres. Have a great week.